Almost at 5,000 followers. Thank you guys for almost 5,000 subscribers. And yeah, let's get right into this video. I'm gonna cut it up, probably post it as another YouTube short. I mean, not a short, a regular video. But first, let's wait for some people to get in here. And yeah, that'll be awesome. Welcome in, welcome in. Today we're talking about the current news with James Comey. I got a lot to say, but let's wait for a few more people to join in. Let me know where you guys are coming from. YouTube. Welcome back to the live stream. I have a lot to say today about James Comey and about Donald Trump and things like that. If you can't tell, you can already see the hat, so you probably have a good idea what I'm going to say already, but probably not. Probably not. Quite a surprise for you guys. Let me know where you guys are coming from. Inside the United States, outside the United States, what state you're watching from. But good morning to the USA. And good morning to anyone else watching. Give it another couple seconds and then we'll get into it. Almost 5,000 subscribers, guys. Maybe 20 or 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Who knows? Who knows? Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a rainy day here. Not too much of a rainy day, but just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my jacket on and then we'll get right into this. Let me know where you guys are coming from. I see 11 viewers, now 19 viewers. So I don't know, maybe your YouTube's wrong, but I'm watching it live on my channel. Here it says 19 viewers. Maybe it said 11 and you couldn't read it. But let me know where you guys are coming from. Let me know where you guys are coming from. Inside the United States, outside the United States. Probably another 40 seconds or so. We got 19 viewers in here. Then I'm going to get into my 27 about the spill, about James Comey and his bullcrap antics, and what I really think. So 30 seconds now. 30 seconds, and then I'm going to go off. So if anyone wants to screen record this or post it or whatever, then go for it. You're more than welcome to. "15 seconds. 10 seconds. Excuse me, I just ate. Who cares anyway? Okay, let me get right into this. So today we're talking about James Comey and Donald Trump. Hello, New Zealand. Thank you for joining in. John Teagle, however you say it. Sorry about the pronunciation of your name. I actually know someone with the same last name. Funny enough, but shout out New Zealand. All right, now we're going to get into the whole James Comey thing. So what I think about James Comey, ex-FBI director. He was fired by Donald Trump. This man definitely knows what 8647 means, and I think it's despicable that the Democrats support the death of a politician or any kind of violent acts. That's absolutely horrible. Why would you support death and destruction? That's not a good thing. And I've noticed the Democrats have been supporting a lot of that. I'm not saying all of them, but specifically against Donald Trump and his supporters. At the end of the day, half of those people are Americans. I mean, half of them. All of them are Americans. Half of them are American people that disagree with you, but they're still American people at the end of the day. So you should respect them. Don't encourage violence against Trump and his supporters. That's really, really bad. Personally, I'm not worried about it, but I know a lot of people may be worried about it. So it's an unfortunate thing. And as the FBI director, he damn knows well what 8647 means. But my response to 8647 is 4847, which means, if they want to take our democracy away, they want to try to put Trump in jail, and they want to try to hurt him multiple times with their Democrat supporters and their horrible aiming at trying to kill and shoot at Donald Trump. That's horrible. They missed. If they want to continue with that, then maybe we should 4847 them. Donald Trump as the next president in 2028. If they want to try to strip democracy away, they want to put Kamala Harris in as president without her even winning the primary or running in the primary, then maybe we should 4847 them. Put Trump in. It's only been since Teddy Roosevelt that we got rid of the where you can't run more than 2 terms. That wasn't that long ago, honestly. And who knows? It would probably spark an uproar and an outrage. But if they want to take away our democracy, try to put our president in jail, like many other countries put presidents in jail, Romania put a politician in jail, France was involved with trying to put the Romanian politicians in jail, Macron was involved with that. If they want to try to put our president in jail, they want to try to put Trump in jail, they want to 8647 him, then our response should be 4847, as Trump as the next president of the United States of America in 2028. Why are Democrats calling for violence, for political violence against their opponents? What are they so scared of? We're getting rid of wasteful spending. We're bettering America. We're trying to lower drug costs. We're trying to lower taxes. They don't want Donald Trump to lower drug costs and lower taxes, because if that happens, they will never, ever, ever get into the office again. They're not going to be elected. There's not going to be another Democrat that's going to even come close to the election or anything like that. 4847, absolutely. Donald Trump in 2028. Now, if you want to hear other news about Biden, unfortunately, that man has prostate cancer, which is really shocking. It's not really how I saw him going out. I thought he might have like another kind of illness, but I would never expected prostate cancer. Donald Trump gives his wishes. Hopefully he gets better. But see how nice Donald Trump is when it comes to that? He's wishing people well. Meanwhile, Biden tried to put President Donald Trump in jail. Meanwhile, the Democrats are literally trying to kill him. James Comey is lying to the Secret Service, saying he doesn't know what 8647 means as the FBI director. That's basically like saying when the mob said you're sleeping with the fishes. He said, "Oh, I just saw that on the beach." Well, I will give him credit. He is a little bit of a trickster in that. He's not the average retard. He was an FBI ex-director, so he knows what he's doing, and he knows maybe the fine line maybe he can try to get away with. But the United States government is honestly calling for him to be in prison. If I did the same thing, I would be in jail for a long time. So I don't think just because you're a high-ranking level or an ex-high-ranking level government official that you should be able to get away with it. It's crazy. Like, they're literally trying to kill him. Like, that's not right in any way at all. Only gangsters make you guess what they're saying. Exactly. They would never ever say what they're really trying to say, what the hell, what was his excuse? He doesn't know what it means? He didn't think it meant any political violence? And how can you say Donald Trump is an anti-Christian when this man is praying multiple times before large events? He's praying before meetings. He's praying multiple times. I understand that supposedly Biden was a Christian, but I've never seen this much prayer in a presidency in a long time. And from what I know, my friend did a great explanation about what 86 means, and you can do your own research on that, but if you're defending a guy that's calling for political violence, if you're defending 86, that probably means you're defending political violence. That's not a good thing to be defending. Like, if you're like a good human being, even if you're a Democrat or you wanted Harris as president, you're not going to support murder against a politician that hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't killed millions of people. You can't compare him to Hitler. He hasn't killed 6 million people. He hasn't killed, anyone directly. So I really don't understand. The only person that got killed because of Trump was the failed assassin that got shot in the head because they were trying to harm President Donald Trump. So that is absolutely ridiculous that the Democrats are, yeah, freedom of speech. I can't walk into a school and scream, fire, fire. You get arrested for that. And every single country in the world, there's limits to free speech, and including in the United States of America. There's no such thing as absolute free speech. I know about the First Amendment. I know about freedom of press. Many countries have freedom of press and freedom to say your opinions and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's always stuff that you can't say. You can't walk into an airport and start screaming bomb, bomb, bomb. You'll go to prison. You can't walk into a school and start screaming fire, fire, fire. You'll go to prison. So unfortunately, there are laws against calling for violence and death of politicians. So arguing for freedom of speech is not really a valid point. It goes against the laws in the United States of America. First off, Republicans never said that. No high-ranking Republican ever said that. Second off, it wasn't the FBI director, the ex-FBI director. Third off, I do not ever remember Republicans saying that, but I did see it in the news. It wasn't anyone high-ranking. It wasn't anyone special. It wasn't an FBI director. It wasn't a political candidate. See, I don't even know who that is. Jody, I don't even know who that is. Gatsy said that. I don't know who that is. That just shows you it's not a high-ranking political figure. Well, the Capitol riot was a whole different situation. First off, let's start off with the facts about January 6th, because this is a main brainwashing, controlling point that the Democrats like to talk about. January 6th was a moment where the only people that died were people that died of health conditions, and also one guy that died from the police that killed him. And the guy that died from the police was also a Trump supporter. The people that died from health conditions were Trump supporters. The only people that didn't die that weren't Trump supporter were the police officers that killed themselves. And I'm not saying that suicide is good, but we really don't know what caused them to kill themselves. Yeah, they had notes about it. Some of them had notes about it. They might have felt guilty. Well, if Nancy Pelosi, in her own words, would have done her job and stopped the Capitol riot instead of trying to put the blame on Trump like she really wanted to, then they probably would still be alive. But Nancy Pelosi, in her own words, said, I could have called in and, had them stop the riot way sooner. And I could have had the police and everyone handle this way better, but, I chose not to. That was her own words. I know Ashley Babbitt. Yes, I know who it was. She was a Trump supporter. All the Democrats got to say is, you're making this up, you're making that up. Go do your own research. I just talked about the attack on the Capitol. What attack? No politicians died. The only people that died were Trump supporters. They broke a few windows and they did their time in prison for it. They did 4 years in prison. An illegal immigrant killed this dude and his wife that were in their 20s. And that illegal immigrant in the state of California got 10 years in prison. Now that prison time was turned down to 5 years in California State Prison. He got 5 years in California State Prison for killing a man and his wife. Meanwhile, the January 6th protesters that broke a few windows got 4 years in prison. How is that a fair justice system? That is a politically weaponized justice system. And the Democrats used to believe in that, but as soon as the January 6th people go to jail, and as soon as Donald Trump gets charges, all of a sudden the justice system in America is perfect. But before that, the Democrats were crying, unfair treatment against black people in the justice system, this and that, and all these people that are Black Lives Matter supporters, unfair justice, yeah. Well, I believe that everyone gets unfair justice system, but it's not fair to think that it's only one side or one person. I didn't say I didn't see anything wrong in January 6th. I absolutely do see something wrong in January 6th. They should have never destroyed the property. They should have never, destroying someone else's property is a crime, so they should have never done that. But 4 years in prison for destroying some windows, in my personal opinion, is completely unjust. 4 years for damaging some windows. And no one died except the actual protesters and people that committed suicide days and days after. Well, then educate us, Melvin, educate us. What other than property got destroyed other than Trump supporters' lives? Well, I'm sorry, Carb, that you've been, uneducated by CNN and you've been watching it 24/7 for the last 8 years, but property is property. What do you want me to call it? Government property? Do your own research. Look up on ChatGPT. Look up on Google. How many people died on January 6th? Only one person died from actual violence, and they were a Trump supporter, and that involved the police. Everyone else died from natural causes, and they were also Trump supporters. And the other people that died were cops, and they committed suicide. Maybe if Nancy Pelosi did her job and called in law enforcement beforehand, they wouldn't feel so bad. Maybe those deaths should be on her hands. Ever thought about that? And her own words that she said, oh, I could have called in the National Police Force before then. You know what's also taxpayer funded? All those hotels for the illegal immigrants that they were getting for years and years under Joe Biden. They would get free housing while veterans were sleeping on the street. They were getting free housing in 5-star hotels while United States veterans were sleeping on the street. Now Trump is taking the veterans center that they were building in Los Angeles. They gave a bunch of that property away to high-paying universities. I think UCLA was one of them. And they were giving all that property away to people to buy it. Now, Trump and I believe the Supreme Court said that they cannot do that anymore. And Trump passed a law where all that extra property that was meant to be for veterans from the start, it was meant to be like for food and stuff like that for them, not for housing originally. Now, Trump is going to take all that property and make about 6,000 to 10,000 property spots for homeless veterans in the Los Angeles area. And that's just the start of him trying to house the veterans and he's going to take all the money from the illegal immigrants as well, and he's going to take that money and put it into the housing project for the veterans that are homeless. Trump is the best. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel, guys. Yes, Trump did slash the VA. 1,500, not all of them were vets. A lot of them were vets. They were only working there for about under 2 years. And the VA has always had complaints and stuff like that against it. And the veterans have always been complaining about how crappy the care in the VA is. And, the VA is going to be running fine without a bunch of extra employees that they really don't need. Who the hell said veterans are homeless by choice? That just shows you the mindset of the freaking Democrats. No one wants to be homeless. $48.47. That's our response to 86.47. 48.47. They want to try to take our elected official president away. then maybe we'll, before Freddie Roosevelt, there was, a such thing as more than 2 terms. That wasn't that long ago. That was only like 100 years ago. Who knows? Maybe we can get a 3rd term for Donald J. Trump. '86. You guys better be careful. I can show you countless videos of people saying that online, and they've been have the FBI pop out their door, and they're seriously investigated. So you're setting your guys up for not a good week. Just telling you that right now. You never know who's watching these videos. You never know who's watching these comments that you guys are leaving. And all it takes is one subpoena from a federal judge, and they can find out exactly who's behind your account. And then you stand no chance. And then you have the FBI or the Secret Service showing up at your door. I'm not talking about IP address. You can't always find where someone is because by their IP address. They can subpoena your YouTube account. That means if they subpoena your YouTube account, Google will tell them what your name is and where you're registered at and what your IP address is and where to find you. Now go on Twitter, go on Google, look up all the people that have been investigated for saying these horrible death threats. If you want to be on one of those lists, then go ahead. It means 8 miles out and 6 feet under. That's exactly what my friend said on my channel. Actually, 324 viewers, but as usual, they are counting my viewers. Now we got 429 according to me, but hit the like and subscribe button. James Comey knew what he was doing. He lost his job because of Donald J. Trump. He didn't properly investigate Hillary. That's exactly why he got fired. Smash the like and subscribe button, guys. Hey, every time you guys, I notice something. Every single time the haters comment something stupid, like, oh, don't leave a like or something like that, more and more people support. I really appreciate that. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Yes, I support Donald J. Trump. Drain the swamp. Hey, thank you for liking and subscribing. We're fighting against the tyrannist right now, the tyranny of the Democrat Party. They're calling for murder and violence against Trump and his supporters. How does any good person support that? The only good thing that we have on our side is that all Trump supporters have guns, and most of the Harris and Biden supporters don't believe in firearms, so they're heavily outgunned. We can protect our property and we can protect our safety legally. Last time I checked, when Trump won the first election, they were all screaming about, oh, our rights, and crying. So who's the victim? The crybabies that are literally crying out their eyes live on news, or the winners that won the election? I made a whole video about Trump and Epstein if you guys want to check it out. It's the recent video on my channel. I am not Catholic. Fuel prices down, food prices down. I'm not Catholic, but I do like what the new Pope said. I mean, I don't agree on his immigration stance, but I do like he said that a marriage is between a man and a woman. But I have nothing wrong with gay people. I'm just stating the facts, and I'm just stating what the new Pope said. That must be the stupidest statement I ever heard. Food prices are above average. What's average? Makes no sense. Inflation is down. Gas prices are down. Everything's down. Except the stock market. That's up. Hello, YM. How you doing? Thanks for joining again. We're talking about James Comey and his corruption bullcrap. I want to say this again. I've said this in the last 3 or 4 live streams, but first hit the like and subscribe button. If you guys would have used your brain and listened to the new leader of the free world, Donald J. Trump, you could have made a fortune. You could have made 24 to 35 to 40 to 50% on your money, but the S&P 500 went up 24% since Donald J. Trump told you to buy. What did you do? You sat there, you cried about Trump, you hopped on Twitter, you hopped on YouTube, you hopped on Facebook, and you just kept crying and crying about your 401ks. Even when Trump told you just buy in the market, you're going to make a lot more money once it goes back up, you didn't listen. You did not listen. Hit the like and subscribe button, share this video. X, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. Over 25%, CG, over 25% on every dollar invested. I did listen, Dan. And I'm doing much better than I would have if I didn't listen, if I would have just kept crying like you guys did. Colt. Let's look at the facts right here. I like how you like to mention how much has Trump been on the golf course. I had the numbers and statistics pulled up, but Biden, I believe he took about, I'm trying to remember the exact days. It would be really hard to remember the exact days off my head, but maybe like 200 or 300 days on the beach Biden spent, like a fourth of his presidency. He spent about, I think, a couple hundred days more than Trump did on his last vacation, and he spent about hundreds and hundreds of more days on vacation than President Obama. So all the numbers are out there. That's a great point that someone brought up. Biden takes way more vacations than any president in the last 20 or 30 years, maybe in history. I don't believe that's right. It's much more than 6 weeks. I remember it almost being an entire year. But I would have to pull up the facts. Let's see if I can pull up the facts real quick. Hold on. Let me look up the facts. You haters are going to be so mad when I tell you how many days freaking Biden was on vacation. You're going to be like, no. Well, I remember looking it up, and I remember looking at the statistics, and it was way more days than any president in recent history. If ever, probably. I'm pulling it up right now. So I guess that's unfortunate for you guys. Absolutely, you don't care. I agree with that comment. You didn't care when inflation was at its record-breaking numbers and food inflation was at its record-breaking numbers under Biden. Over 25% inflation on food, gas, and everything else in one single year under Biden. But because the news told you not to cry about it, you did not cry one single day about it. You just spent more money and ignored it. So that just shows you the ignorance. You really don't know anything about the economy. You don't really watch the economy. You just watch what the news tells you. I'm finding the facts. I'm still finding the facts. Even though no one cared, I'm still finding them. How many days did Biden take on vacation? How many days did Joe Biden take on vacation? Let's look up the facts. I don't know the exact numbers of Trump either. We'll compare them because I remember for a fact that Joe Biden spent far, far more days than maybe 40% of his presidency was on vacation on the beach. It's looking. Any guesses, guys? Any guesses? 39% of Joe Biden's presidency was spent vacationing. 577 days. That's almost 2 years of his presidency. Well, he was presidency for 4 years, so 39%. I guess that shows you the exact percentage. But over a year, it's all Google information. How many days did Trump spend on vacation on his first term? The sources are American Tribune, AOL.com, and Tribune.com. There you go. There's your sources. News Weekly. Multiple sources for you. 566 days Joe Biden spent on vacation in his presidency. Why do you think nothing got done? Trump spent 380, but that includes the days that he was on the golf course making business deals. When you're laying on the beach with your eyes closed, you don't get much done. So that shows you Biden took over 200 more days than Trump did on his first presidency. And yes, I'm using AI, and yes, I have all the sources listed here. $200 more days. You guys want to see it for yourself? This with this broken screen, 577 days. I have to wipe off the camera a little bit, but 577 days Joe Biden spent laying on the beach with his eyes closed. Donald J. Trump will be your next president for 4 more years. Hey, good morning, sir, birds builds. I'm just letting them know. No, it was 577 days of ice cream. Probably every single day. But I'll still pin your comment anyway. $577 days of sleeping on the beach. I told you the sources already. Yahoo.com, American Tribune, AOL.com, Washington Post, Newsweek. How many more sources do you want? 577 days of sleeping on the beach and eating ice cream. They should have taken 39% of his salary for all those vacation days because he was on vacation 39% of his presidency. Who was running the country, Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton? Which one? I looked it up. He golfed for 30% of his vacation days. He had over 200 less vacation days than Biden. Between 200 and 380, Biden had over 577 days of vacation. It's all public information. You're free to look it up yourself, sir. And if you don't want to, liable is completely different than guilty in a criminal trial. And he wasn't found liable for rape either. You're wrong on that. It was for sexual assault, but it wasn't for rape. Those are two different things. And I like how the Democrats confused the criminal charges. But they weren't even criminal charges because it was a civil court case for money. For money. It was all for money. He didn't get found guilty for any sexual crimes in a criminal court. So get your facts right. You don't even know what the difference between a civil case is and a criminal case. So how are you going to talk about laws and charges? No, it's not fine, but he wasn't. It's much easier to be found guilty in a civil court than it is in a criminal court. In a criminal court, you need hard evidence and to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not the same thing in a civil court case. But I do not think essaying is cool at all. That's horrible stuff. But this was not found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This was all just for money. And the woman had to pay him money because he countersued her. And they found that she lied about a lot of stuff. She owes him money. I just said I do not approve of any essaying activity, but it was not found guilty in a criminal trial. If anyone's found guilty in a criminal trial, then I will absolutely talk shit about them. Yes, it's true, Jacob. You're uneducated. You didn't even know there was a such thing as a civil case versus a criminal case. She owes him money. She couldn't remember the year or even the season. If it was such a crime, then why didn't they take him to a criminal trial? Don't you guys think that if you really did something, you should be put in prison or taken to a criminal trial? Why was it just a civil trial just for money? That's all I'm asking. Why was it just for money and not for prison time? You got to use your head a little bit. Because he's rich. Because he's rich. Yes, exactly. Joe Biden sniffs little kids for 4 years. You guys ignored that. You just let Joe sniff whatever little kids he wants. And you're completely fine with that sexual harassment activity. Live on television. Tara Reader, Joe essay Tara Reader. What about the sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden? What about those? All you liberals always forget that Joe Biden was accused of sexual assault. That man, they tried to get that man to go to court multiple times. They found him mentally incompetent to stay in trial. That's the only reason Joe Biden didn't go to prison or get charged. I don't think Biden was the president. I think someone else was running the country at the time. Shout out Toronto, Canada. That is disgusting, Jacob. Now you're openly admitting that Joe Biden is an essay. Waffle Jackson, be a little bit easy on these guys. Give them some freedom of speech a little bit. Let them say what they want. Jacob is exposing himself. You should have at least kept one of his comments. I agree. No spamming. Agreed. No spamming, but you should have at least kept one of his comments to let the Democrats know how stupid their supporters are. That guy basically called Joe Biden a rapist and said he was a better rapist than Trump. That's disgusting. It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate you doing that. He was getting a little bit annoying. But I want them to see how stupid he is. I made a whole video about Epstein, brother. Go check that out. That's exactly what you said, Jacob. That's exactly what you said. Protect the Constitution. Only 2 people agreed with you, Jacob. I really don't care. You have a freaking anime picture as your profile picture. Are you 12? You probably shouldn't be on here watching me. Please leave. This is an adult show. America has a higher GDP than your country. How do you feel? Jennifer, if you don't like America, you can leave. Alright, Onyx, you are booted. No inappropriate comments like that. We all know you support harassment against women. Just like your president does. Joe. Shout out to Constitutional Crusaders. That means he doesn't like you liberals, basically. I have a whole Discord. Anyone that wants to join and debate me live one-on-one is welcome to join the Discord. We can debate any topics you want. Hey, Tom Pepin. I made a whole video about Qatar as well in the jet. You can check those videos out. This guy, Graham, is literally the same name as me, but he has no brain cells. You gotta change your name, man. Donald Trump doesn't control the interest rate. That's the Federal Reserve. But you don't know anything about economics to even speak about the economy in the first place. All the liberals are crying ever since day one of Donald Trump's office. Thank you, War. Love is love, I agree. I just don't want men and women sports. Thank you, Elizabeth. Vegetable Joe. Thank you, Waffle. All you guys can do is insult because you're losing. You lost the presidency and you're losing the debates. That's why you don't want to debate me. You don't want to talk about any facts because I'll fact check you in real time on a debate. Yes, Donald Trump has made mistakes. Every human on the planet has. Has Germany done any mistakes? Like taking away freedom of speech? You can't call someone a dickhead in Germany without going to jail. So I don't really think you should be criticizing American politics. Maybe worry about your own country. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know any of the anyone running Germany's name, but I can name a million bazillion things wrong with Germany. I didn't say that was the biggest mistake Germany has made. Well, you can ask questions, Kiki, but I'm just pointing out the obvious. Maybe you should worry about your own country. I'm pretty sure we're not the one that told you to take away freedom of speech. My top 10 about what? Germany? I'm not here to criticize anyone else's country like they like to do to me. Foreigners and people that have never been to the United States love talking about it and obsessing over it. Absolutely, Maryland. If you're patriotic enough, Corey, maybe one day you will be. 51st state. USA won't be overseas medicine anymore. I'm stuttering like old Joe. Biggest mistake was to put an Austrian painter into power. Everyone knows that already. You know else who can't talk? Joe Biden. He can't talk as well. And he was president for 4 years. I talk a little bit better than him, so I think I'm doing just fine. Save Canada from itself. 51st state. Coming soon. To a country near you. He didn't have cancer for all those 4 years. He was stuttering since day one. At least if he did have cancer for those 4 years, he never told the American people about it. That's a little bit scary. Africa is a continent. There's countries within Africa, but Africa is not a country. It's a continent. Well, whatever it takes, Alex. Whatever it takes. Well, the thing about you saying Joe Biden has a speech impediment, he was talking fine 40 years ago, and all of a sudden he doesn't know how to say a sentence. So I can understand if someone does have a speech impediment. I can absolutely understand that, but he was talking fine 40 years ago. I watch videos of him all the time. This is a room tour of my trailer. He did speak a lot better when he in the 1980s and the 1990s when he was in Congress. No, not Portugal. 48-47. You guys can't take a joke, but if I did live in a trailer, what's wrong with that? Trailer life. A Trump cult member inside of a trailer. Is Waffle Jackson in here? No spamming, buddy. Sorry to hear that, Corey. Hell yeah, what's wrong with the trailer park boy? What is the best thing Trump has ever done, and what will he have to do to lose your trust? I could think of multiple things. Well, first, let's start off. What's the best thing Trump ever done? I think it's what he's trying to do right now. He's trying to get rid of tax on tips, tax on overtime, and probably trying to abolish the tax system, or at least abolish tax for people that make under $150,000 a year. He's deporting illegal immigrants, cleaning up the country from the criminal gang members. He's trying to make the United States pay the lowest cost for medicine in history. Paid only the cost that the country that's paying the lowest amount is paying. That's exactly what the United States will pay. Just like less than Europe, or just like Europe pays for their medicine. We're done getting screwed over. We're done paying the profits for big medical companies. There's a lot of things that I can say Trump did, so it's kind of hard for me to say what the best thing Trump ever did is. There's multiple things, but I think the best thing that he's ever done is exactly what he's trying to do right now. But a lot of it hasn't been passed, because if we pass lowest medication cost in U.S. history for buying it from the pharmaceutical companies, then the Democrats won't get elected again. And if we lower the tax rates for everyone and we abolish the tax system, get rid of tax on tips, then the Democrats won't win another election again. So they're trying to stop them. Yes, lowest medication cost in recent U.S. history. Wayne, you're absolutely wrong. Check out my recent vacation videos. Last week when I went to a wedding, I was around a bunch of great, wonderful, beautiful people. But I can see that you're trying to look through my content. You're getting a little bit of jealous of my life versus yours. It's okay. It's okay to be jealous, buddy. It's okay. I know my life is beautiful and yours looks like your mother's basement. It's okay. Depends on the speaker. Trump can carry on a conversation. Biden passes out wherever he is. Lefty is gonna hate. Yes, I am going around Europe, touring Europe, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely, a trailer is better than a mother's basement. I'm not in a, no, I don't love socialism. That's why I don't live in a socialist. Say all you want, but all the information is public on my channel, guys. You can see me hanging out with people from all over the world. Europe, Canada, United States, Egypt. I meet wonderful people. Nothing more than I love meeting wonderful people on my travels. Getting to know them. Keep it a little bit less political than this channel, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. A lot of people start to cry when I talk about Trump. And I understand that Trump's going to put America first, so maybe other countries won't like it. But I think it's kind of funny, Kiki. You live in a country where drugs are legal. You live in Germany, and you're asking me if I'm sober, when I live in a country with strict drug laws. So maybe you should look at your own country and question that before you ask me anything. I'm 100% sober, buddy. Hey, moderators, you know what to do to old Jacob. You know what to do to old Jacob. You're welcome to remove him right out of here. Or not. I'll let the moderators decide if you stay. Tesla is better than BYD. I hate to tell you. Hey, Keith is super jealous. I've never seen a man so jealous. This man went on my video, looking through all my travel videos. He's like, "You're not happy. You're lonely. You're lonely." I guess you didn't see all the travel videos I've made, meeting beautiful, amazing friends in beautiful, amazing places when you're in your mother's basement. It must really suck to suck, I guess. Yes, I've been to Germany before, but I'll come back. I'll come to Berlin next time. Berlin to Berlin. I got a good friend now that lives in Berlin, so I'll come there. Even though it's a little bit of a failed society, I'll still like to visit. Every time's a good time to buy Tesla stock. Well, join my Discord. Where is socialism? I'm in Europe. Tesla stock has been... You might want to try harder, liberals. Try harder on your Tesla hate so I can buy more. Please, someone go do something crazy. Not trying to encourage any violence. I wasn't going to say that, but go do something crazy if you want. Maybe Tesla stock will take a dip. We can buy more and shoot the price up even higher. I didn't kick anyone out. I'm not even the moderator of my own channel, so... Because we don't want Chinese competition taking over our American market. We put American first. We don't want the Chinese taking over our automobile market. Just like the Europeans ban Chinese auto manufacturers because they don't want them taking over Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Well, to be fair, there's better automakers in China than BYD. It's all way more complicated than that, I agree, but I'm just saying my basic opinions. Absolutely. I think it is more of a free market. I kind of agree on that comment. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a lot more that goes into it. Democrats already lost midterms. Unfortunate. Well, you lost the midterms. How does it feel? You gonna cry some more? You gonna cry harder or as hard as when Trump won? Which one? You gonna cry harder or just as hard as when Trump became president during midterms? Which one? I understand most of the stuff I'm spouting more than 99% of you guys because you don't want to debate me about it or join my Discord and debate about it. It's because you're scared to show your face, number one. And number two, you're scared to debate. And number three, you can't speak a proper sentence. And number four, you don't know how to look up the facts or educate yourself on anything. The Democrats lost the midterms the day they didn't stand up and applause for a 13-year-old cancer patient. The Republicans won. I'm not even in my Discord right now, so I don't know what you're rambling about. I'm here on the live stream, so. Yeah, a lot of my thumbnails are AI generated, truthfully. But I guess to get your attention, huh? You're talking about my thumbnail. I'm not in the States right now. You could say I'm traveling abroad, but I love the United States. Obviously, I'm a patriot. You can tell by my hat and by my love for the American flag. I love how you know when you see an American flag, you instantly know who they voted for and what side of the team they're on. Like, why is it, can some Democrat tell me why when you see an American flag, you know who they voted for? Why is it when you see an American flag, you can tell who they voted for and what party they represent? Why is that? "99% of the time a person flies an American flag, they aren't Democrat." Thank you. Well, I'm sure we know who you voted for, even if you're a demon. There's no Trump flag. There's no Trump flag. No one's answering my question. Whenever you see an American citizen flying the American flag on the back of their car, the back of their truck, or in the front yard, why is it you know who they voted for? Why? Why is it no? Why do you know who they voted for? Why do you know who they supported? Well, I haven't really seen Trump flags, to be honest with you. Maybe there are Trump flags. But you're still avoiding the question. Why is it whenever you see an American flag on someone's car, truck, backyard, you know who they voted for? Answer the question. Serious question. You guys still won't answer the question. It's because the Democrat Party, they burn the American flags. They fly the Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ flag. They don't put the American flag. They hate the American flag. They set it on fire. I asked the question multiple times and never got an answer. Hit the like and subscribe button though, guys. I didn't see any answers. Extremism. What's extremism about flying the American flag? Are you talking about the Democrats burning it? I didn't see any of you guys' questions. I'm very, very, very confused. I didn't get an answer. Someone put their answer again because I'm about to end the live stream here. Yes, because Trump puts American first. Yes, he's a nationalist. Being a nationalist is better than being globalists. The globalists are the scum that are trying to make us eat bugs. That's literally part of their World Economic Plan. $48, $47. Who cares about immigration as long as it's done legally? Nationalism for the win. Thank you. That's my reply. Stop the globalists. I'm not worried about being detained, buddy. I've already been detained before, coming and going places. And every time I'm let go because, I'm a great citizen. I got nothing to hide. No, I don't do any bad things. I don't do any drugs like a lot of you Democrats are on. I got nothing to hide. Hell no, I do not watch the British broadcast crap. Democrats. I don't understand why the Democrats always make fun of the mentally challenged, special needs, and the gay community. All of their voters are mentally challenged, special needs, and gay. So what is wrong with that? Aren't most of your voters like that? I'm confused. You hate them all of a sudden? I thought you guys were brother in arms for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. What happened? Nothing wrong with that. I just don't want men and women sports. Trump is the best president we've ever had in history. Anyway, guys, I think I'm done for the day's live stream. Hit the like and subscribe button.